All right, welcome, folks. Mil-Spec Ops Monkey here. This is going to be your SITREP for Wednesday. It is 11 a.m. Central Time, coming to you from the great state of Texas. And it is 4/20, 2022. And without further ado, let's hop over the board. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and bell for notification so you get the latest and greatest. And so for today, let me get the right screen up before I pop over here. Let's get it started with Skyglass. And so we take a look at what is happening here. This is just kind of a roll up right now. We'll break it down into a little further categories, but this is just basically the heavies and the tankers and then the NAs, all right? And so you can just kind of see the flow as things start out. Now we do have 3 ship of C-17s headed westbound. Don't see that very often, so somebody's on the move with something right now. And then air refueling is kind of in this general area. We'll look at that closer. We're going to do a complete, like a separate breakdown here right now as we kind of just get a better feel of what's going on. Let me take out the NAs from this list. 37 NAs up right now. Those are aircraft that don't want to be checked or tracked, all right? So, but there is it right there. Just kind of give you a general idea how it's looking. East Coast, again, is popping. And we've been seeing that pretty consistently. There is some more activity here out of the central area, just kind of North Texas, Oklahoma. Nothing really up on the east or west coast yet, sorry. But East Coast seems to be the flavor of the month, as you can see, just kind of getting a quick gander at that, all right? So let's hop over here. We're going to break into our list, and we'll start out here with the watch list, just kind of give you a general feel of what we've got. Some P-8s coming out of Jacksonville Naval Air Station doing their normal search. Now, last time we got together, we were looking at some activity down over the Gulf, but not today. We do have that Air Force 2 aircraft up. That's going to be a SAM 850. Of course, it's not Air Force 2 unless Bob Marley is on it. So, but that's one of them up. R-135s are a little active this morning. The NAs, as you can see them all over the U.S., those are going to be military intelligence spying on us. And then, now this one, folks, pay close attention to. That's an R-135 doing some battlefield recon up here between Alaska and Russia. That is not a good sign, because what that does is tell you that Russia is putting something out there asset-wise that is causing us to go look at it and do some battlefield assessment. So that is a new development, and Russia may be on the move up there on their side of the world, Alaska side, so to speak, right? So pay attention to that. They could be putting nukes in right off our coastline there if they don't already have them. So, all right, looking over here at the EU, you can see we got our Q4 up. That's going to be probably Forte 11 or 14 or something, but that's the Q4 drone running that general area. And then, of course, we've got our R-135s. So those are, the R-135 is actually a British bird. And then this is going to be our 703 Red-Eye 6 B703. Again, battlefield assessment. Those guys are grabbing data. Very active today compared to what we have seen. And then we've got the Jake C-135 up there in the UK, which is actually, that's a sniffer. All right. Now, this Q4 is interesting because, remember, that is going to be your bottleneck of ships getting in and out of the Black Sea. So, and we'll look closer at that here in just a minute, but that's going to be another key indicator of why, of the recon that we're doing right now. So the Russia-Alaska piece is very new. Just catching that today, and that is a very interesting dynamic that you don't want to lose sight of from a data point, okay? Because that could indicate that this thing is about to get really interesting, okay? If they start doing stuff up there off of Alaska right on our border, that's very close compared to being straight back into the old Russia homeland, okay? All right, let's get over here to heavy lifts real fast. You can see Europe is starting to pick up again. This is what we expected to see with the NATO aspect. We were really thinking that these guys would start to move assets around. You can see they're doing some replenishment. And when I go through some of the headlines, you're going to see what we're seeing there, okay? Looks like, too, the Brits have been down in the Middle East. So they look like they're putting some assets down here in the UAE kind of region. And then, of course, it's just, you can see the other movements here across Europe, which are continuing on. Like I said, they're just doing a replan right now. We're feeding the machine, and that's what we're witnessing as these guys providing Ukraine with the assets. It is just a matter of time, folks, before we are fully engaged in this. And I'm going to show you the latest from Russia. Now, again, we were looking at the heavies on the East Coast, as you can see. That's a 3 ship we were just looking at. I was showing that mixed up. Now this is actually kind of separated, so all you can see are the heavy lists: C-17, C-130s, C-5s. But again, East Coast is hopping. I don't know what they're moving across the East Coast, if they're prepping stuff for going to Europe, or if this is just a staging ground for everything. But it's just, again, another data point that is very interesting. And then let's look at the air refuelers. This also kind of supports what I was talking about if you look at the tanker aspect of this. Again, a little flurry coming out of Central Texas, or North Texas, actually, Oklahoma area. East Coast, you can see a little air refueling track right there. Look to be over the Carolinas, and then up here in the D.C. area, looks like we've got some fighters up in that general area too. And of course over Delaware. So it's interesting to watch this. Again, when we look at the TFRs here in a minute, you'll see. But here's the stuff going on, launching out of kind of the Texas, Oklahoma side of the house. So again, very interesting. When we look at TFRs, I'll pull that up right now, just kind of give you a general idea. I'm going to have to pull my screen over because it closed out on me. But get a fresh look at the TFRs. And you can see this is on radar 24. Looks like Flashbang is headed home this weekend. That's probably why we got the fighters up in this general area. This box of all these color boxes, these are power outages. So that means power is out in these general areas. Looks like there's a pretty big blackout going on up there. The blue box is pretty light. The red box is, that means that's a lot of people, okay? But Flashbang looked like he's headed home this weekend. Let me see what day he's headed in, because this he could be going 22nd. So yeah, that's going to be Friday, Friday through the weekend. So okay, now we get down into here. These are space operations. You can see these little round circles, and down here in Cape Canaveral, that's also going to be space ops. This one here is an air show. This one appears air show, and that one's an air show down here in Trump land. All right. Not seeing, we have one over here in Portland. Let's see who's going to Portland. This is VIP. All right. What day is that? Tomorrow. So looks like we may have Flashbang headed this general direction out here to Portland. And we'll see. It's not on his docket yet, as we'll take a look right now, just so you guys got a feel for what he is up to. So today at 4 p.m., looks like he's meeting SecDef, the Deputy SecDef, and the Joint Chiefs of Staff, and the combatant commanders. And so looks like, folks, we are getting ready to do a quick battlefield assessment, and God knows what he's going to do. He could pull the trigger on this, and we end up going hot. I'm telling you, we are not far off in getting fully engaged in this war, and you'll see it as I get through the headlines. Now, one of the things I was going to show you here is, let's see how I want to do this. Let's get into... we'll start out here. I just want to show you from a zero hedge. Get ready for the supply chain shockwave. Now, this is a very good article. It'll be in our blog stack on the website this Friday as we do our weekly roll-up with all of this content. But the big takeaway here is that they are saying, well, for one, it's all still shut down. We're going on week 3. This isn't a 14-day lockdown. They're actually saying that this could go until June, if not through the end of the year. If that happens, folks, the whole world is going to be in a hurt, because China actually provides a lot of stuff. Give you an idea, I think they provide about 90% of the pharmaceutical ingredients that India uses. So that means India will not be able to dispense drugs to their people, which is a very big country. But anything electronic-wise, laptops, cell phones, key ingredients, things we use for making boxes, there is a bunch of stuff. Rice is going to be a big one too. So a lot of this, you're about to see some serious shortages around the world, all because of this, okay? Now, we talk a little bit about this location. You can see these are, again, green is cargo, red is going to be the oil tankers. Nothing's moving. Week 3, nothing is moving. It is stagnant. You get onesie twosies that are probably coming out. Not good at all. This is going to be a very bad impact, folks. I'm telling you right now, this right here is not something any of us were really thinking about. We knew there were going to be shortages. This is bad, and it's continuing on. So we'll continue to watch this until we start to see movement. But movement will be good, but it's still going to be, once it starts moving, it's going to take months just to get all this stuff in and back out and back kind of into the flow of things, okay? Atlas Air, if we get over and just to show you this constant steady stream of aircraft. These are 747, 767, 300s. These are big aircraft carrying cargo. They're having to go air freight. That means it's going to get expensive, right? So that's Atlas Air, just kind of show you that flow. When you start moving it via air, that's kind of a big indicator. Of course, nobody's talking about this but us. And then here, again, you can see the flows back and forth to Europe, or to Asia. Now, yeah, some of these are going to be troop movements. Don't see anything to Europe right now, but there will be some troop stuff going in there. There will be assets being moved in as well. But right now, this is probably commodity related, okay? But notice the flow is going over here to the East Coast side, not to the West Coast. I find that interesting, especially when you start looking at the military heavies that are moving East Coast, right? So don't know why they're not moving to the West Coast, which is kind of a strange thing, to be honest with you. You would think it would be spreading out stuff across the United States. We know they're not doing it via train because the trains are all jacked up. So, okay, so we talked about the shortage. Now let's get over here to what's going on relative to the rest of the world, all right? And so want to also point out here, oil contingency for Russia invasion. We are getting ready to go on full lockdown sanctions for all of the Russia stuff. The EU is about to, as is the U.S. That's not good because we saw what it did on the last one. It looks like they were slowly bleeding stuff in, but this looks to be a very big move that's going to send prices skyrocketing, okay? So because of that, EU is now, as they impose this full embargo on Russian oil next week, it's going to send the price, they're speculating, above $185 a barrel, according to JP Morgan. So if it goes to 185 a barrel, 200 a barrel, whatever it may be, you can guarantee you're going to see a massive uptick at the pumps. All right. So that means gas is about to go crazy. Now, here's the other piece, too. Biden is prepping yet another huge Ukraine arms package as the total military aid nears $3 billion of your dollars. All right. And this stuff that he's pumping in here now is artillery and a bunch of other things. And it's going to be interesting. We keep giving them all of our stuff. If we have to go to war, I don't know where we're going to get our stuff because we're giving it all away. We're giving it to Ukraine to try and fight. And we know why it's Ukraine, because it's a stronghold for all of our agencies and for our administration. And that's where they've been making all their money. And so going to be interesting to watch, to say the least. But this is also just coming off the heels of an $800 million one that was announced last week. Now, this is the other piece, and we're going to talk about that $800 million in 1 second. But Russia is now warning the U.S. to stop arming Ukraine. This is why I say this thing's going to go hot. Between us and the UK, we just keep pumping them with stuff. You're putting quarters in the war machine. Meanwhile, we're getting ready to be on the brink of global food shortages, and they are spending billions. It's absolutely insane on war stuff when we're about to be in bad shape here on the home front and globally from a food perspective. Okay. All right, here's another one here. Ukraine has received fighter jets from an unnamed U.S. ally. So again, we're giving them jets now. All right, so this is this article actually goes in and talks a little bit about us actually giving them parts for the aircraft, which is interesting. But looks like now somebody has been donating aircraft. All right, don't know who it is. I'm sure that'll surface. But here's the piece I was going to talk about here: the $800 million in aid to the Ukraine. This is actually it includes a very large number of unmanned coastal defense vessels. So I don't know what that entails, other than you can probably see that stuff dropping into the Black Sea here pretty quickly in the Mediterranean. But this is just a data point, part of the $800 million we just gave them. Okay. All right. Now we're just talking about the fact that we're giving everything away. How are we going to fight a war for ourselves if we need ammunition? We'll be out. As you know, our government has been buying a ton of munitions for a while now, and they're pretty heavily stocked up on it, as are the American citizens. And so, but now they're saying, whoa, man, we've got to start cranking up some additional ammo resources because everybody is buying it up, including we the people. All right. And so now there is a new U.S. Army document that details the plans to update World War II era ammo plants and depots. So they are getting ready to crank up the old bases all over the U.S. that were making this stuff, probably because they're already fortified. They've got the wall structures and everything else you need for a location that can actually make explosives. Okay. And that's why you kind of go back to it all. It'll take them some time to get that done. So it's not something that happens overnight, but just a data point, just to show you that we are ramping up for war. Okay. All right, over here to the Bit Defender. I just want to show the U.S. is getting gobsmacked today. This is insane. Number one on the thing, U.S. Russia, but you can see it. We are taking the lion's share of the beating. I imagine it's going to continue. I will tell you that almost every time I come into the studio to do something, I've got something electronic that has been jammed up, doesn't want to work right, and it's happening all over the place. You guys probably experience the same thing, but you can see U.S. is getting whacked right now. All right. Over here to Biggs Army Airfield, to just kind of show you what's going on. This was the big feeder of the machine in terms of troops. They were processing through here. I do have a new one here. This is Legion Air that's coming. It's scheduled to arrive from Norfolk, Virginia. Could be returning troops. I'm not too sure. But just showing you there is something on the board. This could actually be immigrants. I mean, you never know. Remember, Biggs Army Airfield has got a giant immigration facility there. I mean giant. It's very big, very large. It was housing a lot of the Afghanis, and I'm sure they'll continue to use that for something, okay? None of them have gone away, even though they were set up and implemented, okay? And there's a lot of them. I think there's about 30 plus just around the U.S. in terms of these immigration camps that they've stood up. Nobody's really talking about those, are they? So, all right, over here to McGuire Field. This is going to be Lakehurst up in Wrightstown, New Jersey. And looks like we've got an Air Transport International coming in from Baltimore, Washington, and a FedEx Bird, MD-11, and that one's headed to Ramstein. So that's probably, I would imagine, grabbing some of the content that we see in the Biden spend, right, in terms of munitions and things like that. So they're probably carrying some of that over as well. Ramstein's going to be probably one of the locations we fly into first, and then it'll get spread out and dispositioned throughout the theater over there. Okay, U.S. Transportation Command, these are going to be your Canberra flights. Just to kind of show you, Sophia, that's the one that's going to be down in that general area here. Actually, this one here is coming inbound. But this is Black Sea, and I want to say Bulgaria is where it's headed. That's Sofia Airport. We have a pretty major presence down there, and that's one of the areas where the Chinese are actually flying right by. So, yeah, so we are down there. Of course, the Chinese are over in Serbia, which is loading assets in. And then, of course, you've got Kosovo and all the other areas of the region right there that are very pro-Russia. So this is going to be very interesting as this thing goes hot, because our troops are kind of surrounded right now, which is not good, okay? And then this one here is popping out of Shannon, Ireland. Of course, you can only see a couple of them. You don't see all of them. But just give you a general idea. These are usually troop movers, okay? All right, now we get over here to Royal Air Force just to show you them. This is actually their variant of the Canberra flights. Again, mostly troop movers. You will get the triple R's that will be showing like this one right here. that could actually be one of the aircraft on R-135 doing some work. But you can see they are going between the Middle East and then down here in this general region on the southern end of Europe. Okay, continuing to feed it, and those could be moving troops, or they could be moving equipment. So, all right. Now, this is actually going to be the Ruskies. Just want to show you, you've got one flight. Looks like it came out of, I don't even know how to pronounce that, but it was headed into Moscow, or Moscow, sorry. And that was arrival here 52 minutes ago. So that is probably, the jet size is one of the little smaller aircraft. It's probably like one of our Gulfstream, taking a dignitary in, probably getting called in on the carpet. And then here's another one too I thought was interesting. It landed 16 hours ago. Again, this is a Russian bird, but it landed in Japan. So just to give you an idea, so the Russians are actually in Japan right now. Don't know why that is, but just a data point. Always have to make you wonder, man. We're all playing jockeying from a political standpoint. But here we go here. This is actually going to be the Navy. It's going to be your Navy transports. All right. So you can see a couple here in the U.S., some down here in the islands, and then this one here in the kind of Western Europe side. It looks like they came out of Terceira Island. Well, yeah, maybe. Hard to see, hard to tell from there, but yeah. Anyway. There is the Navy. That's actually logistics stuff, moving their equipment. Now, this is the Omni. These are going to be troop movers for the most part. Every once in a while, they're immigrant stuff, but you can see we got more troops rolling out of Hawaii and headed, it looks like, actually, wonder why that is not showing. This is interesting. Planes facing the wrong direction, really, according to this. But Guam to Hawaii, this looks like one going back, reverse that. So evidently we had one coming across. It's just not showing on the map. And then these coming out of Europe too. So again, troops probably doing a rotation, more than likely, because this has been going on for a little bit of time. And then let's get over here to our immigrant machine. This is actually a little bit of export of immigrants. And then of course we're bringing them in to feed the Amazon machine for our warehouses. These are non-union workers coming out of Central and South America, as well as Mexico. You can see this one here is a little bit of an exception. Valley into Alexandria, that is actually going to a 72-hour holding facility. Those folks are probably getting exported out of the country. But this one here, Guatemala into Valley. Don't know if that is a return just coming back empty. Laredo down to El Dorado. Those could be actually exfilling some folks. We are on the brink of that Title 42 going hot, which is going to change this a little bit. But when you start looking at like this one, for example, where it's coming out of, where is that one headed? Phoenix up to Minneapolis, St. Paul. More than likely, as we get into Google Earth, and this thing has been giving me a really hard time lately. It's headed up to the Amazon facility, more than likely up here. I'm not even going to bother. I don't know why. I should have logged into that a minute ago. But anyway, Amazon facility up here, that's probably what they're doing, is feeding workers into that location. All right. Okay. And then, of course, this is definitely exfilling, folks. This is going to be your World Atlantic Airlines. This is either Bureau of Prisons or U.S. Marshal Service, but they are taking folks out of these little border locations, bringing them back down here. And kind of makes you wonder how bad these folks have to be to get sent back. Like, really, how many bad people are coming out of Central America? Just like it's, we got cartel. Is it crime ridden? It's just kind of nutty to see that you've got a regular sequence of flights bringing people back. Just, again, data point. This one here is headed to Haiti. So, anyway. Just another data point, but coming out of Laredo. So I guess we're still getting folks rolling up. You just don't hear it on the news, okay? All right, over here to ADSB Exchange. You kind of see the numbers. 314, it's really kind of light compared to what it has been. It's heavier than usual. 250 is about our normal range. Actually showing 276 right now with the reset. But you can notice there are some heavy movers headed westbound. And we haven't seen westbound movers to that degree in a while. So it looks like all the stuff we see that has been floating into the northeast is starting to get pushed out to the west coast and some of the other areas. Now, the question is it civilian related or is it stuff going to military bases? More than likely military for prep of what's coming, because it's not good. Like I said, really not good. So, all right, back over here to Sky Glass real fast as we wrap this up. You can see, like I said, this is that little 3 ship of C-17s. We've been watching the aircraft feed into that region. One thing I do want to check before, as we look at this hot mess here, let's get over to the Black Sea. I just want to take a quick gander just to show you what is happening over there. The flow of goods. And the reason I was showing you this, remember we had the Q4 that was flying in this general region right here. They're looking at the cargo ships coming in. Now the red, again, these red ships that are in here are oil. That's going to be oil tankers. The green are cargo stuff. And you can see there is a constant flow pushing through into Russia, just nonstop. Up here is that war zone, and that's why it's crystal clear. Nothing up there, really. People staying out of it because they started floating mines in the region. But notice there is a dominant red domination of red ships, of tanker ships. That's the word I was looking for. Sorry, I had a Biden moment. I was waiting for a white Easter bunny to come over and redirect me. So, but yeah, this is it's just something to pay close attention to, because this is kind of the pinch point right here. If we are starting to do a lot of recon in this general area, as well as down here, that could mean that we were getting ready to throw some naval assets into that area and try and lock down the flow of goods as the war goes hot. Okay, and so again, as you can see, we're just continuing to feed that machine. We do have some serious shortages coming our way from the China side, and it's not just the U.S., it's going to be globally. That impact is probably around 60 days out before we start to see everybody burn out their existing inventory levels and the replen not come. So pay close attention to that. This is a time, again, like I said, if you're not prepping, start prepping now. You need to really get on this, because there are limited supplies out there, and you're going to see it start to go away here in the coming weeks and months. Okay, so all right, listen, that's going to be our SITREP for today, and I will be back. Remember, Friday is going to be our live show. That's at 11 a.m. Central Time, and that goes out to the masses. And so we will see you guys there. For those in the chat for Monkey Nation, remember we got Q&A today, and I'll see you guys over in the Q&A board. That's it. You guys be safe out there. God bless. Monkey out. Check out the latest gear and products at monkeyworxus.com.